Yeah, but guess what? Guess who's got the 2KD and banged your mom? That's right, it's me. So I got a video to do. Bye-bye. Welcome back to Retro Rebound. In today's video, my fellow casuals, welcome. We're going back to the Modern Warfare games. We got Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, bada bing, bada boom. I am really excited to revisit this era of supreme multiplayer trash talk and also talk about some campaigns. And the most unique sponsor I've ever had for a video in my career, today I'm here to tell you about Southern New Hampshire University. Yes, the school. Now, I've been a game developer for just over a year now, maybe dating back a bit further if you want to count for writing and design, but in the terms of in-engine work, I've been working with Unreal Engine for about a year now. It's incredibly difficult to learn on the fly. You need some real talented people to shepherd you into such highly difficult work. SNHU has one of the largest accredited nonprofit online degree offerings in the country, and SNHU offers an online game development degree that teaches programming, 3D modeling, how to use Unreal Engine, and many more vital tools to kickstart your game development career. It's also super affordable, which is particularly helpful in today's day and age, but they're all in on gaming at this university. It's seriously impressive as they have their own esports arena, and I mean, look at this thing. It's absolutely amazing. So if you are interested in Southern New Hampshire University and getting your game development career started, please go ahead, click the link in the description down below, check it out for yourself, and a shout out to SNHU for sponsoring today's video. So as we post this video, MW2 is officially available. The campaign's been around for early access. I know here we talk a lot about action games, RPGs, all that fun stuff, but we gotta get nostalgic about one of the best eras of multiplayer ever. So welcome one, welcome all to, while it's a familiar format, a different style of game where we are going to remember the Modern Warfare game. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, you're into nostalgia, retrospective content, you are 100% in the right place. Consider subscribing. Let's begin the fun with Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. All right, I think before I even get into any games, any complete in-box experience, y'all need to know how important these games were to why I am here today. My YouTube career began in Call of Duty. So for those who follow me on Twitter, at G27status by the way, that was the name of my second ever YouTube channel. I always get asked, Maddie, where does G27status come from? Well, it stands for Glitcher27 status. Glitcher27 was my first ever YouTube channel. The building block of that was all Call of Duty. That is Call of Duty glitches, tips, tricks, montages, and eventually with G27 status, competitive gaming. In fact, if you look it up right now, you can still find the one and only video available on G27 status because I was a moron and deleted everything when I started the new channel, Mr. Maddie Plays, which many of you are familiar with today. But you can find a video of me telling people to go subscribe to Mr. Maddie Plays. So yes, that was marking the end of my Call of Duty career. But do you remember YouTubers like Muzzafuzza, Small Beans, Kyo8, like these amazing gameplay commentators, these montage makers? That was my era, and it's why I'm here doing this today, because I loved gameplay commentary. Blame Truth is another, like the OG Call of Duty commentator. Love that guy. So there are so many content creators that don't even upload anymore. I think Small Beans is still around, but like Muzzafuzza's gone. Like, it's crazy. I was going completely down memory lane. So I just wanted to highlight, I would not be here today without Call of Duty. And also, if you want to see a little bit of my Call of Duty stuff, you can see it on screen now. I made montages, like I mentioned, and this is the only one I could find. It's called Underrated. It's a 2-minute tritage, and you'll see any of the clips with the name G27 Legacy are mine. So yeah, I mean, this was a big deal for me. Everyone wanted to make montages and get the Dazzle capture cards or the HD PVRs, and it was a big wave in high school. But I just wanted to start there because Call of Duty 4 represents to me the beginning of the best era of Call of Duty. Not just because I grew up during it, but it was not World War II for once, and it presented to us an era of Call of Duty games where it was at its most vibrant. You could, as someone who played competitively, which we'll get into much more with MW2, you could hop into Call of Duty 4, World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, MW2. You could hop into all of these games and All of the ladders were active. All of the playlists were active. It was just a diverse time where everyone was playing Call of Duty. I don't think you get that much nowadays. You don't see these games lasting as long. People are very quick to abandon. Like, if you went back to Call of Duty World War II, there's no one there. You could get a match, but it's not nearly as much. But even as you'll see in the gameplay, I was hopping into Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 lobbies like that. On PS3, no less. I don't know why I got it for PS3. Like, 360 is where you got to play these games, especially when you see my aim. Oh, Lord. Using the PS3 controller for first-person shooters, no. Never again will I make that mistake. But, yeah, I'm getting way ahead of myself here. I'm just really excited about this. Let's take a look at Call of Duty 4 with the complete in-box experience. So, here you have Call of Duty 4, and on the back it says the most photorealistic game that we've ever seen, according to Game Informer. Now it's here in very small text, and it says multiple Game of the Year winner Infinity Ward presents Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the next generation of combat shooters, and one of the most anticipated games of the year. Fight as a member of the U.S. forces and British Spec Ops in global hotspots to eliminate a well-armed, ruthless force of international separatists. Take the fight online where persistent stats unlock dozens of customizable weapons and abilities like calling in attack helicopters and fighter jets to dominate your opponents. Inside, yes indeed, all three of these games have manuals, but none of them are going to wow you. I was almost like, did I really spend money on this? Here you have the single player menu, what it does. It shows what the HUD is inside Call of Duty 4. That's great. The health system where you just regen it. The movement controls. The multiplayer HUD, and that's it. That's it. That's your Call of Duty 4 manual. So Activision was on the way out with their manuals long before everyone else, but that's a complete in-box copy of Call of Duty 4. So what was special about this is, as I said, it was not just World War II, but I don't know if anyone remembers this. There was a time period where it was Call of Duty 4 versus World at War. It was either you were in one camp or the other. I was a World at War guy. I always loved World War II. It's my favorite history era, so I was very into World at War. But competitively, Call of Duty 4 was the active ladder. But outside of MW2, I didn't really like Infinity Ward Call of Duties. I never thought they felt good. I don't know how else to put it. I never thought they felt good to play. There was just something there. I was always a Treyarch guy growing up, and I think that was really the birth of that was with World at War. But Call of Duty 4 is home to a lot of big moments in gaming history. Of course, I mentioned the start of YouTube gameplay commentary. That's a big one. It was also the start of Shipment. You know, this was when Call of Duty was still getting creative, I felt. You had Shipment, you had Rust, and then eventually it just became a thing where, oh, we always have to have this small map. Like, Call of Duty had too many staples. We're here with COD 4, they were doing something different. We're moving on from the World War II stuff to Modern Warfare. What does that mean? It reinvented the whole series. And even though they tried to do that again with like Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, all that crap, I mean, it just never, ever, in my opinion, turned out great. It was sloppy, rushed, and honestly, the multiplayer was so frantic that in an already frantic FPS, it felt terrible. But Call of Duty 4, I just feel was that happy medium. It's funny, though, because throughout the entire Modern Warfare series, they introduced a plethora of broken guns, perks, loadouts. You already know where I'm going with this. And yet people still love these games. I mean, I grinded the multiplayer. Like, I fired up just my PS3 playlist over on MW2, which was not my primary console. Xbox 360 was. I just played PS3 at times when I was bored, which was a weird thing to do. But I had 20 plus days on MW2. I'm just like, dude, oh my God. I spent an ungodly amount of time in these games. But like the M16, it's broken, man. It's a completely broken gun. But we all pretend it isn't. The spawns on Bog, where you could just keep sniping people and they keep spawning in front of you, broken. Great montage spot, though. Anyway, Call of Duty 4 is fantastic. It was also the start of a new style of campaign with Captain Price, with Soap, and all these important characters that we would grow to love through MW2 with Roach and Ghost. And oh man, the heartstrings that are pulled. So yeah, COD 4 is one that I love dearly, specifically because of the era. I love the game, but the era it embodies to me is more special. Perhaps what's more special, though, is everyone's favorite, it seems, MW2. This game, man. This game. You want to talk about trash talk in lobbies? Wow. Mics are still active. You'll see in some of the gameplay. that there are mics still going, and we're talking PlayStation 3, by the way, where game chat is forced, so maybe that's why, but people are still playing MW2 public matches. I found one in an instant, and they're still talking to each other in game. It's a crazy, perplexing nostalgia trip to know how many people are still in on these games. But MW2 on the back, it says, no one is better at delivering jaw-dropping action moments than Infinity Ward. If you'll notice here, they don't talk about the game. They just talk about what people say. That's what Call of Duty was really built off of, right? The sequel to the best-selling first-person action game of all time, the return of the definitive multiplayer experience along with new cooperative Spec Ops Mode. Here on the inside, I really love this style disc for PlayStation. I wish they never got rid of it. I always love the Spider-Man Sony font here with the strip. You'll see in MW3 how they change it to more of a bar at the bottom instead, where this is along the lines of a banner, where the other ones take up the whole bottom half of the disc. But anyway, manual here. Are you ready to have your minds blown? Look at this. White with black text. White with black text and controls. Heads-up display. They only have an in-game screenshot this time like they did for COD 4. Then the health system where you just regen. And then the software license agreement. It is spectacularly bad. And I guess, you know, it is what it is. All the multiplayer memories are up here, not in the box. But that's what comes in a complete box copy of MW2. So this is where Call of Duty hit the true mainstream. And I really want to talk about the campaign. No Russian is a mission that progressively gets more disturbing as the years go on, but really embodies, I think, bold storytelling. They had to have known the attention that this mission would draw. And subsequently now, years down the line, with how things are, and you see what you do in No Russian, where you really sacrifice a piece of your humanity in the game as a character to get inside intel. And that involves completely eviscerating an entire airport. It's a really, really disturbing mission. And in fact, they've added the skip mission option to it so that you don't have to play through it if you find it too particularly disturbing. But this is where COD hit the mainstream. Also because of the story, again, I'm going to spoil it because I imagine most of you played the OG MW2. If you have yet to, feel free to tab off. But I imagine you know Shepard's betrayal with Ghost and Roach. Shooting Roach right away, the way he looks at him in disgust and rips his arm off as Roach is reaching out to him, and then throwing the bodies into a pit, setting them ablaze as you hear Price yelling over the headset to you. Really, really that moment in Call of Duty storytelling where you kind of were just taken aback. Like, whoa, did that just happen? And I think it's happened since then. Just on a side note, if you haven't played the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War story mode, I'm begging you, if you take anything away from this video, please, please, please play it. I don't think enough people talk about that campaign. I think it's fantastic. It's been 2 years now, and I still talk about it. It's a really good FPS. It's really, really good. Please check it out. But anyway, that story, by the way, by Raven Software. They also made Singularity. Singularity kicks butt too. Okay, back, focus. All right, so the campaign is just fantastic here. The set pieces are great, but it has actual character-defining moments where leading into MW3, one of the best memories I have of that game is at the start of the campaign when you see the World War III logo flip into MW3. It's like, oh, I like that. We'll get into MW3 in a little bit, but the story in MW2, I think, really brought it mainstream attention, for better or for worse, depending on how you look at it. But that story was something else. And then it's the multiplayer that I got to talk about. This is where competitive Maddie showed up to play. So does anybody remember game battles? I don't know if I'm bringing many of you down memory lane here at all, but game battles was my thing for years. So obviously esports is really popular now. Game battles is still a website that's around. They are teamed up with MLG, if I remember correctly. And when I was a teenager, this site was popping off. You would show up to a ladder, you'd make your team, you'd invite your friends, the team would have to be then verified by game battles, and you'd go out and set up private matches and play competitively against other teams. I would record all of our matches. Some of them would even be uploaded to YouTube. I couldn't find any for this video, but they'd be uploaded to YouTube. And they'd have to provide proof for victory. Sometimes there would be disputes if people didn't agree with them at all. But you would pretty much play for pride, because nowadays esports is a whole-on career. So I was almost there at the birth of esports, literally. And I mean, it was intense, man. Some of my best memories in video games are through game battles. I was really, really big, for those who don't know, in Black Ops 1 game battles. I was a part of a team called Zero, and we were a top 2 team in the league. We never beat the first place team. They smacked us, but we were a top 2 team in the ladder, and we were able to play for money. So we got pretty far, and I was ranked. Eventually, game battles introduced MLG ranks, and they got rid of game battles ranks, because that used to be the thing. What's your GB rank, bro? What's your GB rank? That was the smack talk on game battles, because, like, you know, it would just be indicating if you're better than someone. And I remember the highest I got for MLG rank was, I think, 950 or something like that, when the system was first introduced and we were really grinding. So yeah, like, that's something that was a big part of my past that may surprise you given my love of JRPGs. Like, I was a very competitive Call of Duty player, literally and figuratively, and I probably could have made a career out of it if I kept with it, but I just got tired of Call of Duty, and that's when I moved on to single player games. Like, I just couldn't do it. I don't know how pro players to this day still do it. It's just agonizing. It's torturous. I love video games, but I don't love Call of Duty enough to have put my all into becoming the pro player that maybe I could have been. But I was nearing that point where I could have been ready to play competitively, but games like MW2 are what broke that drive. Time to have the tough talk no one on the internet wants to have. MW2 is broken. Broken. Read my lips. Broken. Okay? I don't know how people have fond memories of this multiplayer. I love it competitively. That's why my view on things is skewed. I love competitive MW2. The ACR, the TAR-21 FMJ, the UMP FMJ, the Marathon Stop and Power Ninja Pro combo, lightweight pro perk, competitive MW2. Give me more of that. Give me that any day of the week. I'll take it. Public matches are what most of y'all are talking about. We're talking about one-man army, noob tubes, danger close, commando, last stand, model 1887, akimbo, broken. Everything in this game broken. This game would have been torn apart online if it had released nowadays. But because we have the rose-tinted glasses, we look back fondly on old MW2 and go, wow, were you something special? No, I'm here to remind you of your tragedies. This game was amazing for a lot of reasons. Its multiplayer was broken. The Pavlos just rinsing you down. The attack choppers, Harrier strike. Everything about this game was imbalanced. And I think there's something special about that because it was just a game for fun, right? That's what it was for us. We weren't there to compete because we knew the game was broken. It was just a fun video game. And maybe that's the point I'm missing. But I always get a kick out of the conversation with this game. Man, bring back MW2. No. No, I would be in on it, but like, no. Did we forget? One-man army YouTube. Shoot one, shoot another. One-man army to the same class. Replenish your noob tubes. Shoot again. Every lobby was RPGs and noob tubes. You couldn't escape it. It was broken. It was disastrous. It was tragic. I cannot emphasize this enough to the audience. If there's one thing you take away from this, it's be careful what you wish for. If they bring back MW2 multiplayer, yeah, good luck. I was surprised, though, when I was playing multiplayer for this video. Poorly, might I add, because I am rusty. I was very surprised to see, though, that there weren't hackers. There were just people playing the game. Normal kill streaks, normal guns, some occasional people trying to do sniping montage clips, because that's what MW2 is. I was very, very surprised by that. And of course, concluding the multiplayer, we got to talk about Spec Ops. So this was a really neat mode added to MW2 that I liked a lot. It was, to me, my GB time killer. GB for game battles, for those who don't know. So when I was waiting for a match, that's when I'd play the campaign. That's when I'd play the Spec Ops mode, and we just fire it up and see what's going on, what's popping. And I remember a lot of these missions were fun because you could play them with a friend online, and you would do a regular, hardened, or veteran difficulty ranking, and you go in there and you just complete missions. And so it gave the campaign this kind of co-op element that it really didn't have. So it was fun. It was like running little heists with your friends. I liked it. It was a good breakaway from the multiplayer, and I wish that they kept experimenting like that. Nowadays, it's every Call of Duty has to have your campaign, your multiplayer, and your zombies. Remember when Treyarch only did zombies? Not anymore, man. It's frustrating, but we still have more to talk about here with our final game in the package, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. If there is any game I have neglected tremendously, it's this bad boy right here, because this bad boy had the balls to come out next to Skyrim. Long story short, I failed the class because of Skyrim. Not proud of it, but I failed the class because of Skyrim. You think I was stopping to play more COD when I was on the way out? No, I'm okay. MW3 on the back. The best-selling franchise in PS3 history is back. The definitive multiplayer experience returns bigger than ever. Spec Ops co-op reinvented with an all-new survival mode. Because, see, this is when they were trying to catch up with zombies, right? They were doing, like, the aliens mode and ghosts and all this stuff. And eventually they went, screw it, why don't we just everyone do zombies? Yeah, why don't we all just do zombies? Why not? Okay, cracking it open. Here's the bar on the bottom I was talking about. It's kind of like a half moon, a quarter moon, whatever you want to call it. The manual. Prepare yourselves. This is a good one. Okay, here we go. Table of contents. Guess what they start off with first? The controls. Guess what's next? The HUD, in case you forgot how to play. And then the software license agreement. Let's go. That's it. That's it. This may be the worst. This all cost me like $30. It just may have been the worst $30 I spent. Like, I guess I can always play multiplayer if I want to now. MW3. Man, do I not like this game. Is it because I'm bad? Possibly. I consider myself good at Call of Duty, from Call of Duty 4 all the way up to Black Ops 2. Black Ops 4 I was good at too because I played that a lot, but MW3 and me, I don't know. We got problems though. We got big problems, and I think it's because of Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer, I just don't get along with. Like, their games to me are not good. Weren't they responsible for Advanced Warfare? And I think that's like an all-time worst Call of Duty. And everyone was excited, like, oh, a third Call of Duty studio's in the mix. We're gonna get Infinity Ward, Treyarch, now some new bloods here. And they show up with MW3. I'm like, man, what is this? The guns sound worse. They feel worse. The maps are worse. Campaign was all right. I like the campaign. Like I said, the way it starts and kind of like finishing the fight. I like it. I don't think they handled it poorly. But now we got to do survival mode. It felt like they just embodied everything that was wrong with Call of Duty. And I just started to realize, I don't know if I'm a Modern Warfare guy. I think I just like my Treyarch games. I don't want to be an elitist or a purist, whichever that may constitute as, but I don't know. It's just anytime I played MW3, I even fired it up for this video, of course, like I do for all the games we talk about on this channel. I fire it up. I'm like, let me go into multiplayer. Let's see if anything's changed. Now, odds are stacked against me. I'm using a PS3 controller. I was getting destroyed and outgunned constantly, but Call of Duty's a feel thing. You know what I'm saying, right? Call of Duty's a feel thing. MW3 feels bad to play. And this game had death streaks in it. Being rewarded for sucking has never made sense to me in multiplayer games. Like, hey, man, you're really getting stomped out. Here's a death streak for you with bonus health, with fast movement. No. When I'm beating someone up in a lobby, that's it. That's all there is to it. There's only one winner coming out of this room, and it's going to be me. In the case of the video you're seeing in the background, it was certainly not me. But I shouldn't be rewarded for being bad with second chance or last stand or whatever. It's just a tragedy. Like, I just feel MW2 and 3 embody a lot of poor multiplayer design decisions. And we're just very quick to forget them. Guns with no recoil, by the way. At least MW3 got that right. MW2, none of the guns had recoil. It was just aim, gotcha. Aim, gotcha. No one ever left your sight. With MW3, at least some of these guns bounced and waved a little bit, but I remember MW3, oh man, so I wasn't going to play MW3, but I gave myself a challenge. So there was this shop near me, I forgot the name, I think it was called Play and Trade. There was a shop near us that opened, and Play and Trade was a storefront that would allow you to test the games before buying them. So you could play them on the 360 or the PS3. And the reason they got shut down is because they were selling games for a premium price ahead of a game's launch. And so they had to pay the taxes on however many copies they had bought in stock. And it just put them out of business completely. But what happened was, before MW3 came out, they had a big tournament. And in that tournament, I got to the finals because, again, I was just grinding Call of Duty at this point. So I was going in cold to a Call of Duty and still doing well. But I got to the finals along with one of my best friends, and I got knocked out of, I think, the semis. He got to the finals in a one-on-one. It was like, okay, like, yo, my buddy Connor, he was the one who was in the finals. I was like, yo, Connor, like, this copy's mine if you win it, right? Because, like, you're already buying the game. He's like, yeah, I got you. Like, that's how we work. We're boys, right? So, like, all right, sick. Because in my head, I'm like, my money, which is very limited, is going to Skyrim. But I'll play MW3 if I get it for free, which is why I was going hard in this tournament. He ended up losing, unfortunately, but he tried hard, and, you know, he's a real friend for, again, offering that game for free if he were to win it. But that was like a moment to me for MW3 that I always remember, is that tournament. You know, we had tons of people there, and that's one thing that's lost in modern gaming, man. Midnight tournaments, midnight releases were so much fun. Now it's like, what's the unlock time on the storefront? You know, oh, I'm just going to show up to GameStop at like 9 p.m. and pick up my copy. It's just, the magic is gone. The magic is gone, and it hurts my soul. It really does. But, ladies and gentlemen, those are your Modern Warfare games for the video. A great time for multiplayer, a vibrant time, but also possibly a controversial time, given all the story decisions and I think the multiplayer design decisions. Just so many memories. I could sit here for hours, really. Like I think about the MW2 DLC, and I remember Robert Bowling doing an interview. You guys remember that name, Robert Bowling? And I remember him saying that he was hiding behind a clown cutout. He was picking people off, and he's like, he said in the videos, "I'm a stealth clown, bro." I forgot what it was. The first, I think, the stimulus package, which is it called that, or am I just mixing that up with the actual thing that happened in 2020? I swear I think it was called the stimulus package, but
I'm a stealth clown.
Just a really different time overall. I always think back to World at War. I think back to my, you know, these are the grassroots from Mr. Batty and Retro Rebound was Call of Duty content creation. And what an era it was. But this has been a real fun trip down memory lane. I appreciate y'all watching. Like, you know, when I was putting this video together, it's always fun going down memory lane. But when I was like on YouTube watching old montages, old gameplay commentators, and I was watching my own old content, I was like, wow, I've really been at this for a long time. Holy smokes. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm curious as to your thoughts on the Modern Warfare games. What do you think about them? Please do fire away. With that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next Retro Rebound. Peace out.